Surprise! Yeah, let's not talk about it, okay? But let's talk about something else. Oculus Quest 2, a great VR system. I've had a few VR systems. I had the original, what was it called? Now, what was it called? You know the one I'm talking about, the very, very first one. Completely escapes me. It's not important anyway. And then I had the HTC one, which was cool. And then I had a huge blue thing, you know. And then the best one is the Index, Valve Index. Brilliant, superb, tethered, but superb. And, you know, it has to be tethered for obvious reasons. And then the Quest, I had the Quest 1, yeah. And then the Quest 2, really good, really happy. It's really come into its own the last sort of last year or so. It's really, really moved forward. Certainly the likes of Boneworks, Moss 2 and things like that. Great, great system. And it's amazing what they've been managing to do with it. One of my bugbears with the Quest 2, and I'm sure I'm not alone in this, is the relatively dire quality of the audio. And a lot of that is the fact that it's sort of fed through, sort of channeled down through openings in the actual headset itself that fires down. And for the most part, it's okay. It's average. You know, it has the advantage of the fact that if somebody comes into the room, for instance, you can hear someone come into the room, and I perhaps that's the reason why they want to have that. So you're aware of your surroundings in an auditory way, and then you can do the whole pass through thing. But still, it's really quite lacking. And this is where the Valve Index and the HP Reverb G2 and similar headsets had that sort of over-ear, not on the ear, ear speakers, because they're sort of more speakers rather than sort of headphoney type things. And that's always been something that's been lacking. And then came along quite recently the Logitech Chorus for the Quest 2, which piqued my interest because I thought, okay, well, I use the Quest 2 quite a bit. Play a few games on it now. Certainly the games that have really come into their own sort of in terms of really showing the capabilities of what's possible with the Quest 2. And that sort of really made me use it a lot more. But still, it's the audio aspect. You know, it's the whole package for me. If some part of it is lacking a little bit, I tend to lose interest. Anyway, so I got the Chorus the other day. Now, you're probably asking, Stu, why aren't you holding it, showing it, and doing all that other stuff that other people do? You probably have never owned it. Pokey fingers, lots of accusatory questions being fired at me right now, which I understand. I get it, but hear me out. I still have it. I had it for about half an hour using it, but not using it. And then it broke. Not the Chorus broke, but it broke my Quest 2 Elite strap with battery. So let me explain that. But before I do, let me show you something. So this is my Quest 2 strap. Isn't that great? Isn't that great? But if you look, I don't know whether it's showing up on the camera. Probably too fine, but there's stress fractures all around it, and this was caused from me having the Chorus sort of slides onto these. As I'm sure you know all this, but anyway, it slides onto there, but it only sort of slides onto about that far in. And then what happens is you get this weakness because it's then creating this whole section here becomes weakened because you have strength here, strength there, and it's not pivoting. So when you're taking this off, And believe me, when you're setting up the chorus, you're taking off the bloody thing an awful lot because they don't work. You're creating this tension all the time, even though you're trying to do it in such a way that, you know, you're sort of limiting that tension on the Quest 2, or certainly on the strap anyway. So yeah, and the whole reason I kept on taking it on and off is because the chorus, Logitech chorus, wasn't connecting. I had trouble with it charging through with the battery, so it wouldn't recognize the battery. It wouldn't charge if I had the battery connected, even though it's meant to, and it did at first, and then it didn't. And then I wouldn't get any sound. And when I did get sound, after fiddling with it, plugging it in, plugging it back in, restarting the Quest 2, all these things that I was trying, all the sort of the usual thing that you do, the strap broke. And I just thought, oh, you know what? Fuck it. You know, I just thought I just had enough of this. So the after a lot of faffing around with Logitech, and they were like, oh, did you do this? Did you do it? And it's like, no, your thing doesn't work. And because your thing wasn't working and I kept taking it on and off again, it actually broke my strap in doing that. And they would say, oh, but did it break your strap? You sure it wasn't aliens coming in and firing at your strap, doing weird stuff? And it's like, no, none of that's happened. It was like they were really trying their best to say, no, it was more just sort of user error rather than the chorus and so on. Quite clearly, it's the chorus and the design of it. Really, the design of the chorus. So if we say that's the chorus and how it slides on, so that sort of slides on to there. That's where the chorus would be. It needs to be further along to support the whole of the strap, to support the whole of this section rather than just part of it. Because really all it goes up to is around about there, and then this is exposed and left to allow to come weakened. So what you need to do is redesign it so it goes all the way, so it adds that support throughout, or just not bother. Another reason is just to make one that works, because that really helps. And I know I'm not the only reviewer that's done this, that's had these problems, and I'm just bewildered by the other people that are reviewing this that have the same hardware, you know, nothing's fundamentally different to what I'm using, that just give it glowing reports, you know, this is the best, you know, this is great, the sound is awesome. When I did get sound, it was too quiet. When I got it working for about 5 minutes playing Moss 2, and the sound was okay, but it wasn't loud enough. Even with the loudest volume, it really wasn't anywhere near loud enough. Just really quite poor. So there is some good news. Logitech are looking at this a little bit more. Now I've made a bit more of a sort of song and dance about it. And they wanted to make sure that because of what had happened, I wasn't injured and all that sort of usual, oh shit, just make sure nobody's been deaded by this, you know, the whole corporate thing. And then the big surprise, the big surprise from all of this is that I got in touch with Facebook, Meta, and explained the situation, because I've had the strap for over 2 years. And I said to them, look, you know, I got this thing from Logitech, boo-hoo, you know, a bit rubbish, didn't work, ended up destroying my strap. Logitech are sort of doing what Logitech do best, and I now can't really use my Quest 2 because my strap, which was okay, is now no longer okay and is buggered. No problem at all. They asked me to take some pictures, asked me to explain what had happened, what I'd used, and they just said, no need to send it back, we'll just send you a whole new one. And I was like, wow, okay, maybe Meta isn't all that evil. Certainly their customer experience on terms of the whole sort of Quest side is very promising, and in fairness has been. I've never had problems with refunds on games or when there's been a problem with hardware. They've always come up trumps. So yeah, big surprise on that. So I'm expecting a whole new strap today. No expense on my part. The whole Logi thing is still ongoing. I'm looking to get a refund for that. That can take up to 3 weeks. It has to be sent back to the Netherlands. So we'll see. So yeah, the crux of it is, if you're thinking about using the Chorus, the Logitech Chorus for the Quest 2, just don't. It's really not worth it. It's expensive. When it does work, the sound quality really isn't that great. It isn't a step forward from the normal audio that you get from the Quest 2. And then you run the risk of all these other things that just kind of like I got. So yeah, if you want that kind of thing, hang fire, I think, because I've got a feeling that maybe Logitech may redesign it. But it is Logitech, so they probably won't, and they'll probably just go, oh, fuck it, let's just spin it, let's keep it quiet because it's not doing what we expected it to do. Yeah, so that's a balls, isn't it? Anyway, like and subscribe and do all the usual thing. I'm back. I'm doing stuff. I'm doing videos. And yeah, I'm back. I'm not going to explain too much where I've been. I may do a video about that. But it's all a bit woe is me, and everyone's miserable as it is. So no one wants to know. Important thing, more videos, more stuff coming forward. And yeah, see you next time. Cheers. Take care. Bye-bye.